What's your best holy crap, that actually worked story? Back in college, I was walking to a lake and saw a very attractive girl kinda pouting next to her car with the hood up. I stopped to see if I could help even though I have no knowledge of cars. I kinda faked looking around the engine and said something like probably a fuse. I opened the fuse box and just kinda fiddled with them all willy-nilly like. The dang car turned on first try. I tried not to act surprised at all and she totally bought it. Went out a few times and stayed friends after. Still no idea what I did. Poured pure grain whiskey in a boat motor gas tank while being stranded on a lake with a dead motor and a storm coming in. It actually got us close enough to the bank for us to pull the boat on the bank and seek shelter. I've drank that stuff before. Never again. If that stuff can run a gas-powered boat engine then it's obviously not meant for human consumption. I was at a concert a few years ago. As a poor college student, I had crappy seats and was super jealous of people who had general admission tickets who could be right up close with the stage. The people with general admission tickets all had red wristbands to get onto the floor. I was angrily eating a bag of Doritos when I suddenly had an epiphany. The color of the Doritos packet is almost the same as the color of the wristbands and it's very dark. So my sister and I cut up the Doritos packet and fashioned ourselves wristbands with it. Then we joined a large group of people entering the general admission area. I coolly just flashed the wristband at the security guard without pausing and kept walking. He didn't stop me. It ended up being one of the best concert experiences of my life. This sounds like the plot of a potential Doritos commercial. My boss has always been very laid back and open about his personal life. He can also be an butthole. After his wife had a baby and recovered, their sex life dropped off and he complained about it constantly. One day I asked him what he did for her and he admitted he was a dong to her. I adore my boss's wife, and I was sick of hearing him be. I blurted out, "No one wants to frickin' butthole." He went home for his lunch break, and when he came back he thanked me for being straight with him. Apparently he just repeated what I said to his wife and they're doing better. I was sure he'd be too offended by my statement. Not that I'd help him with his marriage. My friend and I were working on our final engineering project in college. We'd been up 48 hours straight designing this electrical device, creating a wire wrap diagram and whatnot. As we began wire wrapping, we had hundreds upon hundreds of wires to wrap, all based off a chicken scratch hand drawing that we'd worked up on the fly on no sleep. We realized we would have no time to actually try and get it working. We just had to wire wrap everything as quickly as possible just to get partial credit for completion. As we finished, both of us delirious, with the sun coming up and the project due in an hour, we decided to power it on just to see what would happen. Switch on. Both of us did. Did that just work on the first try? We got an A. This is my grandfather's story. He grew up in the Rust Belt through the Great Depression. When he was able to start working, he found a job in the steel mill making train axles and stayed until retirement. He was a gangly Irish guy, fond of a good joke. On cigarette breaks, he could always be found fooling around with his co-workers. After bragging about how well he could blow smoke rings and blow spit bubbles filled with smoke, his friends called on him to demonstrate his prowess. Never one to disappoint a crowd, he obliged. He decided to begin by blowing a smoke-filled spit bubble. He gently blew it from his lips. As the spit bubble popped on the way to the floor, a tiny smoke ring emerged from its center and grew into a decent-sized ring. Everyone was shocked, but no one more than my grandfather. He had demonstrated 2 of his tricks in one shot. What luck. His co-workers begged him to show them how he'd done it, but he played coy. They never found out that it was a one-time occurrence. He quit smoking not long after. He had a feeling it wasn't good for you. Yeah, after that I'd quit smoking too. Nothing would ever make it feel so good again. Way deep in the woods I had to get a bunch of tools out of a shed that was inundated with thousands of horseflies. So I took a glass bottle I found in the trash, filled it with gasoline, put a rag in it, lit it, and tossed it into the tool shed. Gasoline by itself cannot work like napalm, where it sits on the surface and burns a long time. The gasoline consumed itself almost instantly, killing most of the flies in a giant fireball. The smoke chased away what was left. The tool shed and everything inside was in great shape. I was worried it would burn the whole shed down. Holy crap, that worked. I was worried it would burn the whole shed down. No crap, mother, you made a Molotov cocktail. I remember in a senior year of high school in the last days, I forgot my ID. I didn't want to put up with the 2-minute process of getting a temporary ID. So, I pull out my lifesaver mint and hold it up like the IDs we have to, and I pull out my best display of confidence. I looked at the guard straight in the eye, and it worked. Security let me pass, holding out a friggin' mint. Once I got a new video game and was too lazy to run and get scissors. I had short nails, so how the heck was I supposed to break open that annoying plastic wrap? I looked over to my large, fat cat gently sleeping in the corner of the couch. It then dawned on me, so I reached over and grabbed my cat's paw and squeezed, unsheathing her magnificent claws that I then used as a knife to open the packaging. It's my only and best MacGyver moment. I had a Ford Bronco 2 from 1989. Once the starter was failing, and a friend of mine said I should try poking it with a stick a few times. I thought to myself, this bulls can't be true. I tried, and for my surprise my freaking car jump started in the first try. I was mind blown. I've heard this about starters as well. It's a small electric motor and sometimes the contacts between the various parts go bad. Thus, a little percussive maintenance gets everything aligned again. A mechanic might explain this a little better. My brother was once casually performing magic tricks for a family friend. My brother handed her a deck of cards and let her shuffle, then asked her to name a card. She named the Ace of Hearts. He flipped over the top card, revealing the Ace of Hearts. I knew this routine. That guess was supposed to be wrong. He would then jokingly continue the rest of the routine, which involved a couple card forces and some fancy cuts. But he stopped right there, let the friend inspect the deck, and ended the show. She spent half an hour begging desperately for him to reveal how he did it. To this day, she has no idea it was a complete fluke. Works one stroke 52 times, so there's that. Was trying to see a concert but the tickets were sold out to the club. My friend introduced me as Sean Combs to the bouncer, who checked the list, then parted the velvet ropes to let me in. Sean Combs is P. Diddy's legal name. He was supposed to attend the same show. I am a white dude. Nice try, P. Diddy. I know it's really you. I was at a bar in college and saw this girl that I knew from a study abroad program. I had a huge crush on this girl and I was far too shy to do anything about it. The bar we were in was loud, so I had to basically yell into her ear so she could hear me. I was pretty drunk and told her that I had wanted to sleep with her since I met her, made out with her at the bar and slept with her soon after. I was amazed at how being so direct worked. Probably not a good tactic to use often, however. Once in college, I stole a fire extinguisher from a dorm where I was partying. My friend and I left, solo cups in hand, and started walking home. A cop turns the corner and my friend says nothing, but turns around and walks away. I keep on walking straight, get stopped by the cop with a fire extinguisher in my hand. We had tossed the cups. Here's the exchange. Officer: hey, how are you? Me: pretty good. How are you? Officer: alright. Have you been drinking tonight? Me: officer, don't worry, I don't really care about that. I was your age not that long ago. Just want to know for some context. Me: well, yeah, had a few drinks. Officer: why'd your friend leave? That's pretty suspicious. Me: well, if you were out drinking and you were under 21 and saw a cop, wouldn't you try to leave? Officer: makes sense. I'll allow it. Is that a fire extinguisher? Where'd you get it? Me: I found it. Officer: found it? Where? Me: oh, just out and about. Why? Officer: you didn't steal it? It was just lying around and you found it? Me: yeah. Officer: so why'd you pick it up? Me: well, if you just found a fire extinguisher, wouldn't you pick it up? It was just there. Officer: okay. Did you set it off? Me: I tried, but I couldn't figure it out. Officer: you know it's illegal to set off a fire extinguisher at random, right? Me: yeah, I know. Officer: so why'd you try to set it off? Me: well, I mean, I got a fire extinguisher. Why would I take it if I didn't mean to set it off? It's not like good for decoration or anything. Officer: fair enough. Well, good thing you didn't actually know how to set it off because you could get in trouble. Just so you know, in the future if you do need to set one off, you have to pull that ring out first. Me. Sweet. Thanks. I'll definitely remember that. Officer. No problem. Alright, well, you should get going. Don't drink anymore tonight and try not to take anything you find on the street. Me. Can I take the fire extinguisher with me? Officer. No. Get out of here. That was kinda funny. Not me, but I witnessed it. Some guy in my Spanish class completely bombed the final and I crap you not, this is what he said. Hey Mrs. G, my grade online says I got an F but you told me I got an A. And she actually freaking changed it. When I was in college, I was crushing on a girl in my friend group. Thought she was straight, but in a laugh and joke kind of way I asked her out and she said yes. Still thinking she was joking, she hit me up later that day on MySpace and asked if I'd been serious, cause if I was, so was she. Couldn't freaking believe it. And then what? A girl I had a crush on constantly touched my beard because she thought it felt fluffy. I didn't mind. Then I said to her, if you touch my beard one more time you'll have to allow me to touch your butt. Wink. She touched it and I got to squeeze that butt. And that was my holy crap. That actually worked moment. I'm normally a shy guy and suck at flirting, but that was a proud moment for me. And then what? Once was in the passenger seat with my feet out the window. IDKY. I was 14. My mom got mad and told me to stop. I bet her the next car we passed the passenger would have their feet out like mine. They did. Little did you know, that person made the same bet with their mom. In 4th grade we had monthly book reports that I absolutely hated. I would always wait until the last weekend to do it and I hardly ever read the books. Well, one month I just didn't do it. Straight up didn't even check out a book. Well, come turn-in day I don't have a book report to turn in, so I fake being sick to skip. The next day as I walk into class already trying to come up with an excuse on why I don't have it the day after it's due. To my amazement, when I walk in I don't see my teacher but instead a substitute for the day. Great, now I have more time to come up with a better excuse beyond I forgot. The next day the teacher is back and as I walk in starts asking me about my book report. I simply said I turned it into the substitute the day before so it should be on her desk. She spends a few minutes going through the piles of papero on her desk but couldn't find any evidence of it. Ended up getting an A on it because the sub must have misplaced it and I shouldn't be held accountable for the mistake of an adult. Never in a million years did I think my teacher would believe my obvious bull crap. I was driving uphill with no cruise so I had the gas down, then started going down the hill and didn't let up. I look down, I'm going 85 in a 70 and there's a cop right in front of me. He pulls me over. Cop, do you know why I pulled you over? Me. I was driving entirely too fast. Cop, looks stunned. Yes, I appreciate your honesty. Most people try to make excuses. He let me off with a warning. I was at school dorms waiting for a package and checked my mailbox. I saw it in the mailbox of my friend who shares the same name as me, through the slit of the mailbox. Now I didn't have his keys and I needed my package, which was quite deep inside the mailbox. So what I did is stick 2 pairs of chopsticks together with some tape and try to fish it. After some effort I managed to pick it up. Mind you, the box was 30 centimeters long and 20 centimeters high. So when I finally got it out, I was so excited to find out that it was in fact really my friend's package. Finally have somewhere to post this story. Back in probably about 11th grade my parents took my buddies and I on a beach vacation. Being the bad kids that we were, we waited until they went to bed so we could smoke some weed. So we started smoking a huge joint on the balcony of our hotel room. We were up pretty high so it was windy, and when my turn came, a gust of wind blew the joint right out of my hands. This was about all we had left and we were pretty bummed. My friends ripped on me and to add insult to injury we could see where it landed. It had landed at the edge of another balcony about 2 or 3 stories down. So it was just sitting there. I woke up the next morning and suddenly an idea hit me. I tied all of our phone chargers together. So it was about 3 or 4 chargers. Then I chewed up a piece of gum, stuck it on the end of the phone charger rope, and went fishing. So there I am dangling a long rope of tied together phone chargers over a balcony. My friends come up and start ripping on me, like that's actually gonna work, and you better not drop our chargers. But after only a few minutes the joint stuck to the gum and I pulled it up. Blew my friends' minds. Blew my mind. I wasn't even sure if I could do it. Then we got high and went to the pool and had a great day. Cop pulled me over for riding someone's butt. They were going 42 in a 45 on a backcountry road. Angrily asks me if I'm in a hurry. I replied, no officer, I'm just in butthole sometimes when I drive, but I'm trying to be better. Lets me off. Honesty is the best policy. I was working IT for a school system when the tech demo for Windows 7 was released. I installed it on a trial computer to make sure all of the software and connected devices we used in the various computer labs would work on Windows 7. While we were testing it out, it had blue screened on us. We restarted the computer and the OS wouldn't boot up. It instead gave us a message saying the OS had been corrupted and asked if we wanted it to run the auto repair utility. The auto repair feature had never worked on any previous Windows OS, so we clicked on it already pretty sure that we were going to end up having to fully reinstall the OS later. It ran for a couple of minutes and then the computer restarted and the OS booted up normally. We were all standing there shocked that the auto repair had actually worked. I had the same reaction when that Windows Internet troubleshooter actually fixed a problem and got the internet working. That is the one time that has ever happened. I posted this one a few times. I was attending a friend's college graduation, and President Bush was doing the commencement. Because of security and traffic, the best way to get there was to take a free shuttle bus from the local mall. We arrive and there's this long line waiting for buses in the middle of the parking lot. We get to the back of the line and I convince several people to face the opposite way. The next bus pulls up and the driver thinks the end of the line is the front because of the way we are facing. She stops and lets us on. You would have thought a riot was going to break out. People are yelling at the bus driver and she's like, what do you want me to do? There's another bus in a minute. Bye. We waved at the angry mob as we left, praying they wouldn't be seated near us at the ceremony. The time I slapped a grenade out of the air. I'm in a firefight with approximately 6 insurgents. There's 10 of us, so I figure we've got this in the bag. I poke out of my cover and open up with some covering fire so one of our guys can press up onto their flank. Next thing I know, I hear a Damien, look out, and I realize I've got a grenade on a direct path to my face. So I slapped that crap out of the air and into a nearby, fortunately abandoned, building. I only realized later how freaking lucky I was that it had worked. You had 3 options. 1. Take a grenade to the face and die, possible killing others too. 2. Slap a grenade, lose an arm at least, or die. 3. Slap a grenade, survive, have to get surgery to remove volleyball-sized balls. I was getting run through voicemail auto attendant. Heck, I got frustrated and screamed, give me a person before I throw you through the motherfucking window. It worked. I had a person within a few moments. A decent amount of systems are programmed to send you to a person if you use profanity. I drive a 1997 Ford Taurus with automatic windows. One day my window went down and wouldn't go back up, so I googled the problem like any reasonable person. First result said turn the car on, open the door, go 6 inches below the lock stem and bang hard 3 times on the door while holding down the window up button. Window went right up. That was over a year ago and it's still working fine. I was the guy that gave you that tip. You're welcome. With an, at the time, new GF and things got heated. She wasn't on the pill and I was out of rubbers. I sarcastically and slightly disheartenedly stated, well, looks like I have no choice but to put it in your butt, and she simply stated, I've always been curious. Good times. Sounded like a keeper. What a shame you didn't keep her. I was helping my college girlfriend move from her high-rise apartment. We rented a pickup truck and parked in her basement garage and loaded up all her stuff. When we went to leave the parking lot, the truck was too tall to exit the garage. I would have scraped the roof of the truck's cab on the ceiling of the exit. It had to do with the angle of the driveway. The pickup truck had huge fat tires, so I let half the air out of them, which lowered the truck's height enough we were able to exit the garage. Then I drove to a gas station and refilled them. This reminds me of an incident in my province recently. We have a major ferry service that goes between the mainland and a major island, and recently, a delivery truck got stuck on the ramp of the ferry for the entire freaking day. You would be surprised how often a well-placed smack gets something working again, usually because of a poor electrical connection, something stuck, etc. My best holy crap, that actually worked story is actually a collection of 5,486 instances. Source: I'm a mechanic and dabble in electronics. This does not work as relationship advice. I was about to hit a stationary car. I was on a motorcycle going about 45 miles per hour and I was definitely going to crash. No way out. And, if I didn't do something about it, my body was going to smash into the side of that car at 45 miles per hour. But, I thought, I might be able to escape, just that part, if I managed to jump upwards at exactly the right time. So, it happened fast, and sort of according to plan, but somehow my feet ended up in rotation above my head. Benefit of hindsight, I think I was a little slow releasing my grip on the handlebars. I could see the spinning, the ground coming around and around. So, I reached for it. I stuck out a foot and made contact. I was going fast, and the foot on the ground sort of launched me upward and forward. I bounced a few more times in long strides and then ran it out until I fell forward onto my hands and knees. No injuries. Forgive the bad English. Anyway, remember that scene in Alien 4 when Ripley make this amazing trick shot? I was with some friends and we decided to play basketball. The girls were mocking us for being crappy players and asked for a boys versus girls game. The best way to look ridiculous. Of course, I had a crush for one of the girls and was trying to impress her, but it only made me play even worse than usual. And trust me, I'm bad even at my best. At some point, she's laughing hard after a pretty sad move I made and I'm so ashamed that I end up saying a really stupid thing. Don't laugh, I'm just letting you in to see your pretty smile. I know, it's bad but I was young. She smiled at me and give me the ball. Prove it. So here I am, with the ball in my hand and the cutest girl I know looking at me. I know I'm full of crap and I cannot think of a way to get out of this without losing my dignity. The only thing that came to my mind was the Ripley trick shot. So I trough the ball, faking confidence like heck while my brain is like, what are you doing, man? You're so bad you could not make the shot with the ladder. The only thing I could see was the faces of my friends while they looked at the ball flying. And I made the shot. I could not believe it. Total luck. Of course, she knew I was full of crap but she was impressed anyway. Best feeling ever. See you guys on the flippity flip. I was on a train back from Pompeii and when I arrived at the Naples station there were cops asking everyone for the train tickets. When the cop asked for mine, I told him I didn't have it, but really brother had mine, and when he handed the ticket to me, the cop thought we were using one ticket for two people. He was writing the ticket arguing to us in Italian when I said to him in Spanish, I'm Argentine. Diego Maradona, please. For those who don't know, Maradona was a soccer player who played for Napoli and is regarded as a god there. His pictures are all over bars and meat shops. Luckily I was wearing my Argentina jersey. The cop let us go. I couldn't believe I got out of a ticket for wearing a soccer jersey and being Argentine. Just this last semester I did a presentation with a group in a strategic management class. It was the last presentation of the year, and the last presentation before I graduated. This isn't so bad. I just half butt it and cruise for my degree. That was, until I learned the title of the article. The title was Who Has the D? It was a short article about clearing the path to decision making and the importance on people taking an active and defined role in the process. When I found out the article name, I was giddy with glee. How much better could this be? You better freaking believe I was going to make the most out of it. I started planning this crap out a month in advance. So much more planning than I ever did on any other project. For context, our professor was a first-generation South Korean. This is important because he wasn't all the way up on American slang. You see, I was going to make this presentation a huge penis joke. And what's better, I told no one I was going this, including my group members. I was assigned the intro, section 1 and the conclusion. The day came and I was nervous as frick. I didn't know how much of this the professor was going to understand. If he did, I was so fricked. but I was also prepared to take the fall for it. If some bad fallout was to come, I would take responsibility for my actions and take whatever came, and not my group members. I stand up to the presentation desk and I proceed to unleash a sustained 15-minute dong joke. Some quotes, "It's important to know who ultimately has the D, but it is just as important to know who has a hand with the D, and who knows the D well. One of the biggest steps towards making the D is to talk to those who know the D the best. The ones who encounter it every single day. The ones who really play with it. Get down and dirty with the intricacies of the D." I wasn't perfect. I broke character several times during the presentation to laugh or to gather myself. It was terrible. The whole class, including my group, was in fits. They were either stunned, laughing, or looking back at the professor in horror. One particular group member was horrified because a grade rode on this presentation. But my professor, he had a look of confusion on his face. Not an angry "you're making a mockery of my class" look, but he was wondering why everyone was laughing. Our presentation ended on my words, "In the end, it is crucial to know who has the D." Burst of laughter ensues and the question portion begins. We only had one question. Someone raised their hand and asked, "So, what does the D stand for?" I just about died up there. After all was said and done, I went to one of the professor's office hours afterwards and asked him how he liked the presentation. He was happy with it. He could tell the class was engaged and that we covered the material very well. In the end I got a B+ in the class. And that is the story of how I got away with a 15-minute penis joke in class. The whole time I was waiting for him to give you a D grade. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.